So today is Lama Chonam's turn to teach, but he's doing fish relief ceremony. So he asked me to do it, and tomorrow he will teach. And also which is here, and many ways appropriate to teach in front of our senior teacher and knowledgeable teacher, but this is just Dharma talk as offering to my Dharma brothers and sisters. So in that case, then, and I think just offering, and the continuum of my talk last few days ago is the process of really making offerings, that material offerings to the object of refuge, and also teaching and meditation and cultivate bodhicitta and all various ways we can accumulate merits, not just only one way. That's why Buddha Dharma is so rich, so profound. And this 49 days is for us the most important occasion to accumulate merits and purify negative karma. Last couple of days, Rinpoche and many others said this subject exactly. But Dharma is how much you practice and how long you practice is really not that important. The important is you have to know how to practice. In many ways very simple, but then we make more complicated and become just confusing. Why I'm saying that? Because when I read the great practitioners in the ancient times, then you can see it. But our habit is not easy to simplify, but more kind of like ourselves, kind of like more collecting information, and then informations then become more and more really can't find a good place because too many informations, too many thoughts. The Dharma idea is really simplified, free from thoughts. And that way is, we have to, many ways like we think we must learn so many things. We think we must to learn the most highest and profound existed in the lineage of the Buddha Dharma. We think that there are many ways to, but we have to have, we know how to use, we have to know how to internalize. That's the key. For example, you thought very carefully, you're working so hard, but you're not making any kind of saving money for future or buying important things, something like someday you can use. Everything is, you're making money but pay right away for your rent. Then someday you thought, this is not the way I really work, I'm working so hard, I'm making money, but you can't see anything because I'm spending right away. Now I'm going to build house, whatever I have. Then the idea is determined, you're going to build house. Then you go to Home Depot or Lowe's or look for the tools. The whole wall is like tools. And then you, without knowing, because this building material, tools, I think are very important, and I will use it in buying, without knowing how to use. And then when you build a house, you have many things, but you don't know how to use. Maybe that's not for everyone. In my case, it is one of my friends, he bought a lot of tools, building tools, but it doesn't matter when I have to do simple things to fix. I don't know how to relate to those tools. I know how to use hammer and nail and few things, basic things. It's always benefit and right away you can use. Like that, sometimes when we talk about faith and devotion, faith and devotion. Every Dharma, every religion will talk that. That's so simple. I know. We know the name of the terminology of devotion and faith and pure view. All of those very simple terminology, familiar. But how much we really internalize and cultivate faith and devotion. And Buddha Dharma, there's two categories. One is really not much to do with a lot of education, study, but have very kind of like simple mind, but a lot of faith, pure faith. And then there is the result of, you can see the result of your practice because of the faith. And then there is most of them encouraged to study based on logic, based on your understanding. Then cultivate faith. That faith is really cultivated based on your understanding of Dharma and stable and lead you all the way the stages of path, it is said. And then, in order to cultivate that kind of faith, you have to know the qualities of Buddhas and one's root gurus. And then, when we do that, many ways our mind's limited, but when you study and Buddha's quality is inconceivable to talk about all. The subject itself is inconceivable, and then one who try to explain that subject is have to be knowledgeable. Not only knowledgeable, but have to have realization. Otherwise, impossible to put in words. And Buddha, the state of awakening, enlightenment, is the goal of Buddhist practitioners. We first see the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas as the object of refuge. They have the wisdom qualities. Their mind already awakened. That's why we can trust. We can 100% trust and them, and also when we pray, when we make offerings, there is an accumulation of merit. We ask them to help us to purify negative karma. Also, there is an insurance with it. 100% guaranteed purify negative karma because of their blessings. That kind of object and subject, that trust comes from his faith and devotion. And faith and devotion is so important according to Sutra, according to Tantra. With faith, you can see the qualities of Guru. With faith, you can hear the Dharma, not only just intellectual level, but also the view, even you can relate through faith, able to understand the inner meaning of Dharma. And so, to see the quality of one's root guru is sometimes very difficult because lack of faith, lack of devotion. We think we have faith and devotion, but we, most of the time, because of our ego, and like for example, Rinpoche's way of kind of relating to student, sometimes very direct, sometimes relating with a joke, publicly and privately, and some people are afraid of to kind of, even though joke, but not sometimes like the joke is kind of direct and public, and then they're afraid to relate. This is, that fear is really because of that attitude or reaction of ego, right? Now, when you look, think carefully, those comments, and if you're able to listen what he said and internalize the meaning of that comments, sometimes really true. In my own experience, at that moment you just say and pretend not true. But when I go back and look carefully, it's really true. Really true, but I'm able to admit it at that time because of my ego. And those things now, really like in our hand, how we work, how we can, those upadeshas as the kind of like a tool to remove away from the ego and then watch what Rinpoche said is maybe really helpful. Maybe really that will connect with our understanding of Dharma more, and also the lineage teachers, they're kind of like when we relating to them as not based on ego reaction, but based on your really longing to liberation. And and in Vajrayana, the specialty is everything is an elaborate, inconceivable Buddhas and Bodhisattvas brought into one. Yes, few days ago when I talked about Vajrasattva is the embodiment of all Buddhas. That also brings into one's root guru. One's root guru is according to Vajrayana, embodiment of three kayas, three roots, three jewels, many ways. That's all you need to know. And then that personal connection, what we received, what kind of advice we received, not only just Dharma, but only practical advice. We think also that is just not Dharma, only just like worldly advice. But those worldly advice, personal advice, is really helpful. I have many stories, not only just with the Jakshupati, but other teachers. I thought just like the worldly and personal advice, but then later, when you're able to listen and follow that, that also supporting what we try to understand, become the container for the practice, what you believe. They're connected because until we understand beyond this dualistic mind, every good advice, everything is become container for, pure container for Dharma. Faith and devotion and pure view is so important, especially Vajrayana practitioners. Pure view, cultivating pure view is, of course, without that there is no way to understand the Vajrayana path. But faith, without faith, not even we get in Buddha Dharma, forget it, to traverse the path of Buddha Dharma, but not even actually Buddhist. In this case, I said faith and devotion is inspired by the qualities of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and hearing their qualities or witness their qualities, their accomplishment. And in this case, some of you Rinpoche as Rinpoche and had faith as a Buddha. I know a lot of Rinpoche's students has really have faith and devotion. They're so dedicated. Whatever Rinpoche said, they will try their best. That means they're not saying I have faith, but that shows their faith and devotion. They understand I'm their guru. And what Rinpoche, some students say, oh, I know Gyaltsen Rinpoche many years ago. I met him and received teaching, but I didn't know he has that much realization and accomplishment. I feel regret sometimes, but at least I made connection. That kind of. But all those experiences are really good. Even the regret one is also not too late. Rinpoche's blossoms is unlimited. That's not just only Rinpoche, but that's the quality of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. The blossoms is inconceivable, unlimited. So, and then I have few notes I took because talking about faith and devotion, I thought it would be very beautiful if I am able to say a few things, because this is directly I took from the speech of Zirchungpa Hiruptapa. He is a 10th scholar and practitioner in Nyingma tradition, and he encouraged us to cultivate faith in order to practice Dharma. With practitioner with faith and without faith is comparison. Without faith, trying to practice is just like the example is a boulder in the bottom of the ocean. 1,000 years, million years, the boulder is there, but never softened, nothing changed. Without faith, we start in, we say take refuge vows and enter Buddha Dharma 50 years ago, 60 years ago. It doesn't matter. The mind is still exactly the same because of without faith, not able to understand the inner meaning, anything, nothing changed. That's one example is like that. And then also, without faith, the practitioner is like a boat on the ocean without captain. The boat, they're carried by a wind, back and forth, here and there, but never able to get out. Because we think we're practicing Buddha Dharma here and there, but every information, if one able to put together as a captain and then lead to liberation, if possible, but sometimes so many information, and also not only that, some practitioners trying to be non-sectarian, and not only Buddhism, many other beliefs mixing, and just everything's like that, and then there's no direction, carried by back and forth, back and forth. And then there's a really not chance to traverse the other side of the ocean. And then without faith, practitioner like the one person arrived in the shrine room. Shrine rooms are so beautiful, colorful, many, many deities, images, but unable to see anything. That kind of practitioners never able to see the sprout of the bodhicitta, means like the experience of the awakening or the traversing the path of the Dharma, anything able to see. And then also without faith, say like a sheep dropped or like accidentally dropped in the kind of ravine, and because no cloud, anything like can't get out without help. Just the round and never able to get out, that kind of without faith. That ravine is like the samsara, without faith, like that. The suffering of kind of like round and hoping to get out, but never get out from that hole. And then without faith and devotion, practitioners like the handless person without hand, fingers, hand, like arrived in the gold island. Every direction, wherever you grab is a gold, but there's no way to get anything. And then when you die, just empty-handed. Those 5 is without faith and devotion in Dharma and trying to practice. With faith and with devotion in Dharma, know exactly what we're doing, then their mind like the perfect soil. Anything can grow, like in Alameda or Half Moonbeam. Anything you put the seeds, not much work, no need much work. You can see it, you can expect 100% the flowers and fruit or vegetables, everything. And with faith, like wish-fulfilling you, through your practice, fulfill your wishes and others' wishes without effort. No need effort. faith is so important. And then also with faith and devotion, like a perfect king. Perfect king means the king with the kindness, not just only selfish. Whatever that king made rules that brings good luck and prosperity and happiness to himself or herself or the subject. Means like the person with faith and devotion brings happiness in this life and next. Also brings happiness and joy and positive for others too, whoever associates with this person. And then person with the practitioner with the faith and devotion, like a great boat, there is a chance to cross the great river. Great river of, in this case, person with faith and devotion, there is chance to cross the river, 4 great rivers, like birth, aging, sickness, and death. We can type all those how, so many things, but this time is very limited. I think all of you know what I'm talking. And also, practitioner with the faith and devotion, person with the bodyguard. The bodyguard is completely armed and ready to protect. Means when you journey from this place to all the way to enlightenment, with faith, there is like a perfect bodyguard warning you. You're able to hear, for example, like simple ways, you're always aware what you're thinking, what you're saying, what you're doing. You're able to see it, you're able to feel it. And then based on that, you're not going to make any mistakes. Continuously, like, bring back to the perfect path. And those like with faith, without faith, there is 5 examples. With faith, there is also 5 examples. Now, faith in devotion is really simple. In this case, we can think only our root guru. A root guru, how many ways he give you advice. Formal occasions, or kind of casual way, or even joking. All of this is time to collect. Time to collect and remind ourselves, and whatever you found something, remember something. Now, time to remember and not forgetting, and that is your root guru. That is the ultimate Vajrasattva. This, then later, that word is not that important, but when you meditate, there is a irreversible faith or confidence on your meditation, whatever you're visualizing as Vajrasattva or like Guru Yoga practice. At that time, what Rinpoche said and everything is less important, but the meditation is become your guru. Then later is without that kind of like important or not important, something like completely you will be able to rest in that without dualistic mind. Then that is it. I heard accomplished the goal of your practice. So that way, I think in many ways we feel we lost Rinpoche, but the many ways Rinpoche's teachings, everything is in Buddha Dharma, never lost, never will lose. More and more closer, more and more closer, not external but internal. That way, Buddha Dharma is so logical and so personal and not something depend on your own kind of way, explore a path, but that path is working, been working, many generations, many great masters enlightened through this path, continuously, even these days, in this busy, hectic life, Rinpoche is working hard with all of you, but still, you accomplished this much and showing this kind of science. And generally same in Tibet. The Lama is a good Lama, accomplished Lama or not, the moment of death you will see. Kind of like you can, when they lie, you can tell many ways just like us. But the moment of death or after death is different. Who's bodhisattva, who's really accomplished ones, then you can see it. Their aspirations and their bodhicitta is, there's many examples like Kamujingme Pencil, or Parinirvana. They're just Tibetan Lamas, that's all, scholar. But their aspiration and their way of kind of established path, their enlightened activities is more than before, continue, increasing, benefiting, like wildfire in the forest, right? That is really inspiring. That way, we as ordinary individual has a lot of chance because the way we connect with the teachers is real, not for show, not for show our side, try our best, not show from their side, sincere lineage holders transmit the teachings to us. We trying to practice with pure smile, just like yesterday, Muslim just said, smile is the key. Smile is the foundation. Smile is the essence of the practice, especially Vajrayana. So, faith and devotion is really important. And then, pure view. Pure view, there's many things that we can say. You all know, if you think a little bit deeper, there's so many information already you received. I don't need to say too much, and also time to stop. And thank you for everyone, whoever is listening and whoever is here. Thank you.